You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. If you're new to the program, make sure you follow or subscribe on whatever platform you are listening to us on. All right. It's a new year, but that's not going to stop the Uniparty and the Trump haters and never-Trumpers and Republican establishment from doing what it is they do, always trying to do things to stop Trump. Now, Trump posted something on Truth Social that indicates that he's thinking about a third-party run, which I'm going to get to right now. And this story is in multiple sources, but the version I'm sharing with you is in the weekend edition of Yahoo News, but this is all over the place, okay? President Donald Trump has appeared to float the idea of running a third-party campaign if increasingly disgruntled Republican leaders don't get behind his 2024 run for the presidency. Trump signaled the possibility by posting an article on Truth Social Wednesday. And the article that he posted on his Truth Social headline was this: "The Coming Split in the Right-Wing Journal American Greatness." This is the article, calls it right-wing. You know, it's like a negative. The author believes such a move would torpedo Trump's chances of winning the White House, but it would also wipe out Republican hopes, which the author of the article argued would be a deserving punishment for rejecting the popular former president. Okay. You know, here's the thing. Trump posting this article does not necessarily mean that he's going to go third party. It may have been posted there by President Trump as a warning to the Republicans that if they betray him and undermine him, that he'll go third party to destroy the Republican Party.
Oh, I think he will for sure if it comes to that, for
and
sure.
It's not like he wants to do a third party. I don't think that's really what he wants to do. But if he did do that, it would cause major – I would be in that party. I would if he started a third party, right? If he started a third party, the next day, maybe even that day, I would go to our local supervisors of election and I would – re-register from Republican to whatever party President Trump formed. I'd be like one of the first members of the new party. And I don't think I'm alone, because when you look at the Republicans that are against Trump, it's like Hillary Clinton said, what difference does it make? You know, why should we support a party that isn't our party anymore? So if they continue to undermine Trump, and they throw him under the bus, and they stop him from getting the nomination, we should all leave the party and go third party.
It concerns me because this would, in many ways, ensure the winning of liberals.
Yeah.
Because not everybody would join Trump's third party. There are Republicans who voted for him that would still stay in the Republican Party and vote that ticket. So my concern is that it's, you know, like the article said, the great split. Democrats would love nothing more if Trump did this, because this would be like the Ross Perot Bush moment. Mm-hmm. So I hope to God he doesn't do it. I really do. And if he does do it, I won't be happy about it. I'm sorry, because I think it'll split the vote big time. I know people personally that are mad at him for attacking DeSantis, many people that I know. And they are not voting for Trump again.
I'm not one of those people.
I know you're not. I'm not. But I do know people. Brian, I do know people. And if he split that ticket and ran as an independent or MAGA or whatever, it would split that conservative vote. And that would ensure victory for the Democrats. And you know what I worry about is, say he does that in 2024. He's a healthy guy. And say, just hypothetical, that Joe Biden wins. What's to stop Trump from doing this again for 2028?
Exactly.
And just continuously punishing, you know, he's into revenge.
Good.
And I love Trump and I support Trump. And, even though I don't agree with every single thing like Brian.
I agree with everything
that
Trump
he does. But I still support him and think he has the best vision for the country.
Well,
but that's a concern for me.
I'm not
if he did
concerned.
that, you'd be happy with it?
I'll do whatever Trump tells me to do.
Even if it helps Joe Biden win.
Well, it doesn't matter if we have a Republican Party that doesn't support MAGA and undermines the whole MAGA movement, they might as well be Democrats. That's
true.
That's why we call them rhinos. They're Republicans in name only, which means they're not really Republicans. They just are lying, right?
So if he ran against DeSantis as a third party, say DeSantis won the nomination.
For the Republicans?
For the Republicans, hypothetical. Right now, it doesn't look like he would. He's still behind Trump. And then Trump says, fine, I'm going to run as a third party. You'd be happy with that because then neither one of them would probably win. It'd be a slimmer chance.
That's the way it is. Yeah, I'd vote for Donald Trump. Yeah. If Donald Trump was in a third party against Ron DeSantis for president, if it was Biden, DeSantis, and then the third party with Trump, I would vote Trump.
I know, but the chances of either one of them winning would be drastically reduced.
Yeah.
And it would help Joe Biden get a second term, God help us.
This is the deal.
You'd be okay with that.
Yeah, this is the deal, okay? The Republican establishment, okay, this is how they think of us. They hate us, right? They're fake Republicans. They're really. They think that no matter what they do, we're going to support them because we've got nowhere else to go. Yeah. And they say all these conservative things that we agree with, even though they don't come through on them. So they take us for granted. So if we've got to leave to prove a point, we got to do it. Now, I'll tell you something I've noticed this week. And I have been getting calls on the radio the last week of the year. I've started to get calls from people that I haven't called any of them out on this, but I've started to notice that the seminar callers are back, and the seminar callers are very clever. And let me tell you what a seminar caller is. Seminar caller is a term that Rush Limbaugh came up with. Seminar callers are callers that are fake. They're put up by a political movement, the Democrats, the Republican establishment, someone. And they call talk shows to forward an agenda. And this week, I've gotten calls from a lot of seminar callers that are claiming to be MAGA, and they're not. And they try to bring up things that they think will turn MAGA against Trump. For example, Thursday and Friday this week, I started getting calls out of the blue from so-called MAGA people about Trump and vaccines. And some of these things, and I was trying. This is like out of the blue because there's nothing new in the news on that.
Exactly.
So I had a lady that I was talking to on the radio on Friday's radio show, and she was trying to say, "Well, Trump says this, and Trump needs to watch out, and Trump supports this." And I said to her, I said, "There is nothing Donald Trump can say or do that would get me to not support him. I will support him for life, no matter what he says or does about anything." And
I don't want you. I feel like you're comparing me with one of these seminar.
No. I'm not talking about you.
I'm just bringing up the.
I'm not talking about
different
I'm not talking about what you. I'm not talking about you at all, Kathy. No, I'm not talking about you at all. I've moved on from that. Okay. So I said to let me go back because this was very important what she said because her cover was briefly revealed. She blew her own cover. She messed up. So I said to her, there is nothing that Donald Trump can say or do that would get me to not support him. I will support Donald Trump for the rest of my life. And she said, really? After she had been telling me for 10 minutes she was MAGA, she said, really? And I caught her off guard. And that was an indication to me that she was a seminar caller put up by someone because what they're trying to do is this MAGA divide, right? This DeSantis-Trump divide that they're trying to cause. That's what's been going on here. So the reason I share that with you guys, you've got to be very careful. There's a lot of fake MAGA out there that are trying to get us, for some reason still, to drop Trump. That's never going to happen, and be very careful not to fall for their traps.
Well, you talk about the great MAGA divide. If Trump runs as a third party, he's creating a divide. That's what I agree. He is creating that divide.
They will have driven him to do it.
I understand, but the fact that he posted that article, like you said, he may or may not do that, but he's making kind of a threat,
a warning.
And I think
it's a warning.
A warning. And I think it's just him playing his game of chess, and I respect that and I understand that. And I think that's definitely giving them something to think about, and I'm sure they have thought about it. But I don't know if they even care. They just want him out of office.
Well, they're short-sighted.
They don't care if DeSantis doesn't. The only reason they're pushing up DeSantis is to get rid of Trump. So if Trump comes along and splits the party as a third party, they're going to be happy about it because they'll think, well, great, neither one of them will win. They're all rhinos. They'll be happy with Joe Biden.
Donald Trump doing this third-party truth post, okay? This is right out of the art of the deal. If you're in a negotiation, and he's kind of negotiating, to stop opposition in the primaries with the establishment, right? If you're going to win in a negotiation, like if it's a business deal with money, you have to be prepared to walk. And if you're prepared to walk, and some of us on another level, you ever go in to buy a new car and you make an offer and you go back and forth, they won't give it to you, and then you leave and you get in your car. We had this happen. We bought one car. They came out to the car and got us. So you have to be prepared to walk, and that's part of the art of the deal. And that's what Donald Trump is telling them, that he is prepared to walk if the Republican establishment continue to go down this path. And I'll support him all the way on that. We all got to be prepared to walk. I'm curious what the
audience thinks, if you guys would be totally cool with that, or if, like me, it would raise concerns with helping Joe Biden get in a second term, God help us. But like Brian said, does that even matter if they bring in? But I don't consider DeSantis a rhino. So, I'd like Trump, or I'd like Trump, if not Trump, DeSantis, definitely not Joe Biden. But anytime you split a vote like that, it's never good. It's never good. Neither one of them wins. And the only reason he would be doing it, I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, he is still very popular. I just hope it doesn't backfire. That's all. I mean, if he did it and he won, that'd be amazing. If he won as the third party.
Oh, yeah.
Again, but you'd have 3 people running now instead of just 2. So, but it could happen. It could happen.
Yeah. Now, the Republicans taking over the House, there's a story that came out over the weekend in the Gateway Pundit. House Republicans find text and email evidence that staffers of Nancy Pelosi secretly decreased security at the Capitol prior to January 6th, while at the same time Pelosi was organizing a film crew for that day. And,
oh my goodness,
her daughter had that film crew that filmed everything. And now that's a movie that's available on HBO Plus. And
I thought it was Paramount. Is it HBO?
I thought I saw it on HBO.
Okay. Either one. Yeah,
we have both apps
out. Yeah.
And I don't plan on watching it. I have seen some of the clips from the movie online and on Twitter, because it was talked about. And I find it so bizarre, that there's no way it could be a coincidence that she just had a movie crew with her on January 6th. That's of all days.
Of course. I mean, it's totally orchestrated.
Give me a break.
She definitely orchestrated some things and had something to do with that. And she was waiting for things to happen.
So this is going to be one of the tests. With the Republicans coming in, how much control does the establishment have versus the new MAGA Republicans? And the thing is this. The Republican establishment, more of them hate MAGA and hate Trump than we realize. A lot of them pretend to be MAGA. There's a lot of fake MAGA going on. And the Republicans, they have to save face. The ones that hate Trump, a lot of them have to save face and pretend to be, against the Democrats as opposed to colleagues and allied with them. So, like right now they had this omnibus bill passed, for example. And a lot of the Republicans, the Republicans supported it too and wanted it, but they hide behind, the Democrats still control. Nancy Pelosi's still the speaker. We're not in control yet, blah, blah, blah. But once they're in control, they can't hide behind Pelosi and Democrat control and everything that goes on with that. So when these investigations start, we got to see how serious they actually are. And if they're just show investigations, if they really don't get anything out of it, that's another reason to support Trump going third party. I mean, we just can't. We used to talk, and this is very true of Democrats. We used to say that Democrats would vote for Adolf Eichmann if he had a D next to his name on a ballot.
But you used to be against a third party.
And that's, we got to,
You said it was a bad idea.
And I used to criticize Democrats for that because you don't want to just vote for somebody because they got a party affiliate. If the Republican Party is not representing us, and we're not prepared to walk away from it, why should they change?
Could you imagine if
we still support them when they betray us?
No,
why
I know what you're saying.
You know, how can we have any juice with them?
Could you imagine if Trump ran as a third party and beat DeSantis and Biden? How epic would that be?
That would be amazing.
I mean, that would definitely.
I don't think that's possible in a three-way race. It'd be very difficult.
Well, somebody's got to win. You know,
usually,
but I worry about
the Democrat
splitting.
would win because it would split the Republican vote.
Typically,
yeah.
But, you know, that's my concern, and Trump knows that going in. So, I guess I feel like he's having the attitude. Well, if I'm going down, I'm taking them all down with me. I don't know how I feel about that because I think DeSantis would be a good president, and I think he could beat Joe Biden. And I think Trump could too. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But he tweeted that, so he's definitely letting them know.
Now I want to mention just one thing here before we break. We'll take our first break. Whoopi Goldberg was about to be fired from The View because of these just bizarre Holocaust denier things that she's been saying, anti-Semitic things she's been saying. And Barbara Walters died over the weekend. So, who's the founder of The View. So, Barbara Walters' death is likely to save Whoopi Goldberg because The View is going to become, for weeks now, all about Barbara Walters.
Yeah, I agree with you.
There's going to be several shows of looking back, and then they're going to have people on. They'll probably have her daughter on. They'll go to the funeral. And so Whoopi Goldberg just got out of the news cycle for her anti-Semitism and saved by the death of Barbara Walters.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, she was on her way out.
Well, you know, I didn't realize she's been on that show like 17 years.
Whoopi Goldberg?
Yes, since 2007.
Really?
Or something. Yeah, 15 years. I wanted, real quick, and I'm going to put this poll on your YouTube channel in the community section. They did a poll of the celebrities you're the most sick of from 2022.
All of them.
It was posted on Ranker, and the top 5, and I'm going to list these top 5 and have you guys vote on them who you're the most sick of. Meghan Markle, number 1, which I totally agree with. I cannot stand her. Harry, number 2. Oprah, 3rd. Amber Heard, 4th. And James Corden, 5th. I think that's a good list. I'm always sick of Oprah. I can't stand her. But Meghan Markle and Harry definitely deserve the top spot. And I will say this, Megyn Kelly has a YouTube channel, which is very good. And I really like her. She really tells it like it is, and she doesn't hold back. But if you look at her views, they're okay. 20,000, averaging 15,000. That's respectable. But when she talks about Meghan and Harry, she gets hundreds of thousands of views. That's why she talks about them so much, because that is listener gold for her on YouTube.
I don't know why.
I don't either. I guess people just love to hate Meghan Markle. I can't stand her. She's a big phony, and Harry's a big whiny
out of those,
baby. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm sick of all celebrities.
But she gets the most views when she talks about it.
I don't really care for celebrities. When I was younger, I was interested in celebrities, and I find them very uninteresting.
Well, who's the celebrity from this year? Who would you vote for that you're most sick
of those,
seeing, hearing, or anybody?
Well, the list you gave, I don't even know if they're technically celebrities.
No, they are. They're well known.
I mean, they're kind of washed up.
Is there anybody you can think of off the top of your head that you're really sick of hearing about, or that's a celebrity?
I don't like Harry because he's so girly.
Yeah, he's definitely.
He needs to butch up. He's
definitely a whiner.
But listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll talk to you right after this quick break.
Are you looking for fine gold jewelry that you can wear to any occasion? Show your style and express yourself with pieces of fine gold jewelry from J. Nayla Jewelry and Accessories. J. Nayla is the place to find the best jewelry and accessories for any and every occasion. Featured a wide selection of stunning solid gold, gold-filled, and handmade jewelry, you're sure to find your favorite new accessory. Jewelry provides a sense of style, occasion, and even comfort. It can also serve as a subtle, meaningful symbol of values and beliefs. J. Nayla Nayla is stocked with a variety of options to suit every budget, making it easy to express yourself however you desire. Pieces from J. Nayla will have you feeling dressed to impress all day, every day. Gold jewelry from J. Nayla is top quality, highly durable, and long-lasting. It's a great way to celebrate special moments with loved ones. You'll be giving them stunning accessories they'll treasure forever. Shine wherever you go with jewelry from J. Nayla. Visit jnayla.com to pick out your dazzling new piece of jewelry. jnayla.com. Are you looking for cute and comfortable clothing for your child? Look no further. Bister Shop, it's all one word, on Etsy.com has you covered. Bister Shop on Etsy is stocked with a wide variety of colorful, toddler, and children's clothing. You're sure to find an outfit your child will love to wear. Bister Shop on Etsy focuses on providing high-quality, fine designs made for your little one to stay comfortable and stylish. When you visit the shop, make sure to check out their colorful t-shirts, zip-up hoodies, long-sleeve pajamas, and baby bodysuits. All the designs are eco-friendly and responsibly sourced and made of 100% organic cotton material. With pass-down quality, they encourage you to give your outgrown clothes to someone you love. To help us all protect our blue home, visit Bister Shop, it's all one word, B-I-S-T-E-R on Etsy, and start shopping right now. Want to know where all the bodies are buried? Author Robert Allen Miltenberg holds the key to that question in his book, Pool Boy to the Mob, Everybody Out of the Pool. Author Robert Allen Miltenberg holds the key to that question in his book, Pool Boy to the Mob. Welcome to Mob-Ammy Beach. This book is a fictionalized account of Miltenberg working at a mob-owned Miami Beach hotel in the 70s. If you're a fan of The Godfather, Goodfellas, or The Sopranos, you will love this story that's full of colorful characters and wisecracking wise guys. It's a story with everything from Playboy bunnies and weaponized parrots to shattering the glass ceiling and getting away with murder, all in paradise. This is a wise guy tale you've never heard. Surrounded by pools, the trick for Bobby Moskowitz was not slipping in the one thicker than water. Bobby lived to tell the tales, and now you can read all about it. The funniest mob novel since Jimmy Breslin's The Gang That Couldn't Shoot Straight. Pool Boy to the Mob, Everybody Out of the Pool, from author Robert Allen Miltenberg, available on Amazon. Order your copy right now. There's a key to achieving the life of your dreams. Learn how to unlock your full potential in the podcast Authentic Life Connection, hosted by Master Certified Life Coach and author Seth Lusk. Seth specializes in empowering you to find and live your most authentic and fulfilling life based in your true purpose, values, and core sensitivities. He has a decade of experience working in the health, fitness, and nutrition industry with degrees in human psychology, human nutrition, and exercise physiology. Seth Lusk is here to help you heal your life from the inside out so you can start living a fulfilling life. If you've been feeling lost or defeated in aspects of your life, let this be your sign to make steps in the right direction. Each episode will empower and educate you on topics you can use to make positive, impactful changes in your life. Experience the power of being strong, in control, and looking forward to whatever life has in store for you. Tune into Authentic Life Connection with host Seth Lusk, available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and your favorite podcast platform.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Now, just so I don't forget, I did not stay up for New Year's. I fell asleep like around
8 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I don't typically stay up for New Year's ever. What I usually do is I'll fall asleep and then wake up around midnight and catch some of it. But this year I didn't even do that. And it's just, I don't know, it's just not a big thing to me.
I stayed up to about 11 and then I turned off the TV and because I watched Duran Duran on ABC. My mom texted me that they were on there. That was like my favorite group in middle school. And they were good. So I watched that. Then I turned off the TV. And then I read a while. And then Emily texted me. I was waiting up for her because she always texts me Happy New Year. So that was good to hear from her, even though she's on the West Coast. But I did watch some of CNN real quick. I want to say with Anderson Cooper looks like an old lady.
Yeah.
He is really aged. Not that that's a bad thing.
He acts like an old lady, too.
He really looks like an old woman. He really starting to look like his mother. And when she, he just, I don't know. He looks weird.
He may like that idea. Maybe he's like transitioning.
He looks like an old woman. He does look like he's here transitioning. Yeah. And he was on with Andy Cohen, who is always funny. And they did something that was just so shocking and upsetting to me. They weren't allowed to drink anymore on CNN because they've realized it's a public embarrassment. But they had different celebrities on from their homes or wherever they were. They had Nick Cannon on. Nick Cannon, who I don't really pay attention to or follow. He hosts game shows and he hosts
he's got a talk show, I think.
He hosts The Masked Singer.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a talk show too.
He has a talk show now, so whatever. He has had his 12th or 13th child with another woman that is not his wife. He's planting his seed all over town. And I think it's a disgrace. And I think, and I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but they say this is a problem in the black community. It's a problem in the white community too. There's plenty of white guys who have multiple children with women they're not married to. Okay, so it's in both areas. It's a problem in this society, whether you're black or white, Hispanic, whatever. To me, it is a problem, these men having baby mamas all over the damn place. I know he's got money and he can support all of these children. That is not the issue. But they were celebrating his new child's birth. Congratulations, how wonderful, how exciting, and are you going to keep going? Are you going to have more? It was sickening. This behavior should not be celebrated by anybody. I think it's despicable what he's doing.
When you look at CNN,
sorry.
Yeah, when you look at CNN and what they did on New Year's, I mean, look at what they have, right? They got Nick Cannon, who's got a dozen kids or more by I don't know how many different women.
8 or 9 different women.
And then you've got Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper, who are gay. And I know Andy Cohen has adopted. I don't know if Anderson Cooper has kids or not.
Yeah, they both have adopted children.
So, I mean, think about this. You gotta ask yourself this. All this liberal progressivism, is it a good thing? So CNN, they didn't have any alcohol this year, which in past years, not only have they had alcohol, but they've been getting high too, because they were sending reporters out to Colorado party buses. So CNN, this is the new America from CNN, and this is one of the reasons they hate MAGA. MAGA is just too heteronorm for them, like normal, heteronorm. We're too heteronorm for them. Yeah. So they've got this New Year's Eve bash on CNN, Nick Cannon with a dozen or more children with we don't know how many women. You've got Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper, who are openly gay and have husbands, 2 guys with husbands, and they've adopted children. There's no traditional morality of any kind in our society today. And CNN, it's just so bizarre to me, and
they did something even grosser.
And just finishing up on this, years ago when Bush 41 was president, there was this like morality battle between Dan Quayle, who was vice president with Bush 41, and the Murphy Brown TV show with Candace Bergen. And Candace Bergen's character, Murphy Brown, on the show had a child out of wedlock. And Dan Quayle had made some comments. It's been a long time. I thought about him. Well, he made some comments about how, that's not really a good image to have on network television. And people just were so outraged that Dan Quayle was taking issue with this fictitious character on network television celebrating an out of wedlock birth. We are so far away from morality on television today, and all the there used to be this group, the moral majority, which no longer exists. The moral majority used to go around with the Christian Coalition and others and talk about all these non-traditional things are going to tear this country apart and tear it down. And what we're talking about here, just on CNN alone last night on the New Year's Eve bash, is a textbook example of that. And what's going on with President Trump and MAGA, you may not think it's related on the face of it, but it is. One of the reasons the media and the left hate Donald Trump is because he's like hetero, very masculine, like a dominant male, and they're rejecting everything about normality in our society.
Well, look at our culture. I mean, is our culture doing well? No. And all of this started, and I hate to sound like a sexist because I'm not. Can
a woman be a sexist?
I think it's great that women work and all this stuff. But Brian and I are both products of the 70s, okay? We're both products of divorce, latchkey kids. We grew up with parents worked. We were left home alone a lot. I mean, we turned out okay. But I feel that the breakdown of the family that really started after the Women's Live movement was the beginning of the destruction of society in this country, in the white family and especially the black family. And to celebrate somebody who goes around planting his seed all over Hollywood with these poor bimbos like it's a good thing. And he puts pictures all over. They put it online and they talk about it on the news, him with the new woman. He's got another one on the way. This is not now he could do whatever the hell he wants. This is America. But this should not be celebrated and encouraged. This is a problem in this country. So he's got now 12 or 13 kids. He's going to have more, I promise you, one on the way. How is this guy going to be there for all of his children and their wives and the women? I know he's got money, but that is not the answer to raising a child. You have to be there for your kid. This is, to me, disgusting. And then they did something else that was really disgusting. They had Jack Black on, who I like, with his Tenacious D partner, his singing partner. And they asked him, if you guys were gay, who would be on top?
Oh, my gosh.
I couldn't believe
Who asked that?
Andy Cohen, of course.
On CNN asked that?
On CNN. I could not believe. So they got rid of the alcohol, and then they went into this whole weird sex perversion thing. I mean, I could not believe that. That's when I turned the channel. I'm like, okay, because I usually watch CNN.
What did Jack Black say?
They started laughing. Jack Black said he would be on top.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I guess what's he supposed to do? Your live television? Poor Jack Black.
I'm sure they're both. I just whether they're gay or not. That is a totally inappropriate.
Who would even think of such a thing?
I couldn't believe my ears when he said that.
CNN is without class.
I mean, and Anderson Cooper, you could tell, is uncomfortable, and he made this face like, oh my gosh.
When this new company took over CNN, they were promising changes, and it's just as disgusting as ever.
Yeah. Well, Andy Cohen, he has his talk show, Watch What Happens Live, which is a funny show, and he gets very risque on that show, and I understand that. But I feel I feel CNN, they were the first in cable news. They led the way of all these other channels. And I feel when you're first, you have a responsibility to be elevated and to be a leader and to show others how it's done.
Yeah.
And they have really, over the last this New Year's Eve thing, and the way they cover things, they have really debased themselves so much.
That's pretty bad.
And they got rid of the alcohol, but then they got Andy Cohen with all these gross sex discussions. Yeah. And I just thought, that's when I turned the channel. I'm like, I'm out of here.
That doesn't belong.
I was shocked.
No, that doesn't belong. It's pretty disgusting. These are the people, when you think about, CNN, look at all the projection and judgment they put on us and put on Donald Trump. And that question that he asked Jack Black, to me, if I were an executive, Andy Cohen would be forever banned from being on CNN. Just like, when they got rid of, what's her name? The woman, the comedian that did the picture
Kathy
of
Griffin.
They got rid of Kathy Griffin.
She was better than
Well, that was the old management got rid of Kathy Griffin. Andy Cohen asking a question like that of Jack Black, there are families watching. When you're watching CNN, I know it's cable, so they don't have the language restrictions you would have on network because it's not broadcast television, it's cable. But like you're saying, CNN is supposed to have some type of class, some dignity, respectability.
You would think.
And to talk with just disgusting comments like that of Andy Cohen's
what is with these news
way
people?
Over the line.
These news people
They're
are
scummy
scum.
People. They're scummy people.
I mean, you've got Matt Lauer, you've got this Amy Rohrback and this TJ guy that have been screwing around behind their spouses. And all these other issues with these news people have problems. I mean, there's it's like a whole sex cult
now.
Or something going on
with New Year's Eve. We don't go out on New Year's Eve because I don't really feel safe going out on New Year's Eve. And this morning, I fell asleep like 8 or 9 o'clock. We were watching a movie. I don't even remember what it was, and I fell asleep. And I woke up about 4:30, 4:45, and I got up and a street or two over from us, there was still a New Year's Eve party going on. I took the dog outside and I heard them like playing music. I was like, oh my God, they were like 2-3 streets away. I felt so bad for the people that are right next door to them. And then at 6 is when the coffee shops open up here, the first of the year, coffee shops open up a little late. So they open up at 6. I go out to get coffee this morning and it was a mistake. There were so many drunks on the road driving in 2 lanes and everything. And I was like, oh my God. So I got to Starbucks and I told the barista, because I guess the women are baristas. I guess the guys are baristas. I don't know. So I told the barista, I said, I hope this coffee is good. I risk my life getting here. And he's like, yeah, I risk my life getting here too because all the drunks on the road.
I'm sure.
And it is
dangerous.
It is just an awful holiday. And luckily, it fell over a weekend, like towards the end of the weekend. So, tomorrow is like back to work is on the 2nd. So most people will, be sober by then. But my goodness, it's just what a day of low moral character in the country. And let me tell you, this thing with Andy Cohen that you're talking about, Kathy.
I couldn't believe my ears.
They've done a lot of crazy things on CNN on New Year's Eve. There was one time about 5 or so years ago when Don Lemon was drinking tequila in New Orleans and he started talking about his love life. And it was embarrassing. But what Andy Cohen said to Jack Black is beyond the bounds of good taste, and that just does not belong on any of the cable
I couldn't
news.
believe it. I just couldn't believe what
Sadly, I can believe it.
And he wasn't drunk. Maybe he got drunk, but that's just his normal talk.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't say I was drunk.
Exactly.
But
yeah, I mean, if they were letting them drink, maybe
then I'd be like, okay, he's hammered.
And they didn't let them drink this year because they wanted to bring some respectability, and then that happened.
No, he was sober because I was watching him for about an hour, and he was. They were doing shots of apple cider vinegar, which was weird. They were doing shots of weird liquids because they couldn't drink alcohol, and they had to wear masks, and they were like, they didn't know what it was. And I like Andy Cohen. He's funny. I don't love Anderson Cooper. But I flip around on New Year's, and they start earlier, and I like to see what's going on in Times Square, and that's really why I watch it, and they're in New York. But after he asked him that, I turned the channel to ABC, to Ryan Seacrest, who's always great, and that was exciting. And then, like I said, I went to bed at 11 and read a book.
The ball
I guess I'm an old
the
fogey.
Ball drop used to be a big deal to me when I was younger, but a new year just the number changing just doesn't mean that much to me anymore.
You know why? I think it's because when you get older, you don't like time going on.
No, it's not that.
You want time to slow down.
It's just not that big of a deal.
How I feel.
It's just not that big of a deal.
It is.
I mean, I get, being 2023, it's hard to believe. Like, before 2000 happened.
Oh my gosh.
Like from 1980 to 2000, all the time, all you heard about was in the year 2000.
Y2K.
By the year 2000, we'll have flying cars. By the year 2000, we'll have this. By the year 2000, and then 2000 happened. Yeah, they had the Y2K thing, but it really wasn't that big of a deal when 2000 finally happened. Mm-hmm. And I just don't. I don't know. I'm just not into New Year's. I know a lot of people are.
I like New Year's. I think it's a fun holiday. But I have to say, I've never been one to.
I'm in the Kwanzaa.
Yeah. I've never been one to go out on New Year's because
I'm kidding, guys.
I was always like home for New Year's. Like when I was in college, when I was like out partying, I'd be home for New Year's and I would spend it with my family because I didn't get to see them very often. And all my friends lived in different parts of the state. But even in high school, I didn't go out. I think I'd get together with my friends and we'd hang out and watch TV. New Year's parties just weren't a thing when I was in high school. Everybody kind of was with their family. But I don't know. I like it. I like to watch the performances. I've always watched the Dick Clark thing. That's what I used to watch in high school. They still call it Dick Clark's
Rockin' New Year's Eve.
I guess, young people just don't know who the hell he is. It's still called that.
I met Dick Clark once, and he was rude.
And how'd you meet him?
He was rude,
What was
and I just never got. I was a young teen. I was like 13 or 14, and at the time, Dick Clark was doing the Bloopers and Practical Joke show.
Oh yeah, that was a good show.
And I was at the mall with my mother, and it was on the weekend, and they made an announcement that Dick Clark was going to be signing autographs in the makeup department of JCPenney because Dick Clark had a line of male makeup out. and which seems kind of bizarre, right?
That would do well now.
So I was like, oh, wow, Dick Clark, because, Dick Clark was a big deal back then. Bloopers and Practical Jokes and Bandstand was still on. So I said, we got to go. We got to go meet Dick Clark. So I went and I got in line. I got an autograph from him. He didn't say one word. He didn't look at you. What's your name? Okay. And then he was grumpy. Didn't even look at you when he was signing the autograph. And I remember
he probably did not want to be there.
He was wearing like slacks and dress shoes. And I remember, it's so weird what you remember, right? Other than that, he was a total nasty person.
Was he wearing makeup?
I'm sure he was. He was promoting it. And he was so rude. I remember, though, he had like black dress socks on, and one of them was like torn, like had a run in his sock. I remember that for some reason. And that he was just rude. And ever since I met him, and he was so rude, I just really could not enjoy watching him with the ball drop or anything else.
Isn't that a shame?
I know.
It's awful when you meet celebrities. And now I've really never met a celebrity. You've met a lot. And but you've told me there's some that you meet and it's like it's really disappointing.
I try not to meet a lot of celebrities. I used to. I've met a lot of celebrities, but I don't really like to anymore because it's either really good or really bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's that. But we stayed home on New Year's Eve. I slept through it. And you guys can let us know in the comments what you did on New Year's Eve. I just don't think it's a big deal. It's not because it's another year you're getting older. It's not that. I don't know.
It seems like a bigger deal to younger people.
It just seems, because they're out at partying.
Yeah, maybe.
They're out partying. So, everything is just an excuse.
Year's.
Yeah.
It holds a lot of possibilities. I had a very rough year last year medically. I mean, I really did. It was one thing after another that I had to deal with. And so when a new year comes around, I'm always hopeful that, I don't know why, it's just a regular day, but, on the calendar, it marks a whole new fresh start. So I'm hopeful that this year is a little better for me medically.
Yeah, well, I just say one last thing on New Year's. I've been getting text messages from people like today and yesterday, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. I haven't sent anyone a text message saying Happy New Year, and I'm getting text messages from people I
guess they're more thoughtful.
There's another one, right? Just another one came through, and I kind of feel bad, because it seems like a strange thing. But out of all of the holidays, New Year's is like the one that everyone does, no matter what.
Well, I did a poll on your channel a couple days ago for New Year's resolutions, and I gave them certain options. So it was get in shape, less social media time, watch less or more news, worry less, and start a new career. What do you think won?
What are the choices again?
The choices. What's your New Year's resolution? And I put this up yesterday. Get in shape, less social media time. That's mine. Watch less or more news, worry less, or start a new career.
Oh, less social media.
Worry less.
Worry less?
40%.
Yeah. Oh.
People worry.
Yeah. What percentage less social media?
12%.
Really? Like maybe
Get
they're not
in
on
shape, 33.
Yeah,
mine is less social media. I was on TikTok the other day for an hour and a half. I'm like, it's addicting.
I'm done
like,
with TikTok.
the only reason I'm on it is to promote my art stuff. But it is, my mom is totally addicted to TikTok. Like, she loves the animal TikToks, and she'll sit there and just scroll, and it is mindless. It destroys your motivation. It's horrible, horrible. So that is my goal. I know I was on it before. I got off it. I've got to get off so much social media. It's a distraction from real life.
Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, there's some issues to get into. So we're going to jump into the issues after the break. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
From author John Philip S. DeRocha comes your next must-read book, A Shocking Call, available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. All his life, Simon, a middle-aged actor, wondered who he really was. One day, he receives an explosive email. He was both surprised and excited by the news. Simon learned that his biological father is still alive and lives in Canada. From that moment on, his life changed drastically. He embarks on a journey of the past that begins in Canada. For the first time, he met his biological father, Peter, and his new family members. Together with Peter's estranged wife, Anita, he explored the background to his hidden truth that's been going on for over 4 decades. They travel back in time and put together the puzzle that seems to be Simon's life. He was full of doubt and confusion for the majority of his life. He was always thinking that some things just didn't make sense, but he never had the explanation until he discovered who his biological father was. Then, the oppressed and hidden talents come to life, and he is very well aware of his plan to tell his life story. A shocking call can help others in similar situations dive into a child's world, the fears, the pain, and possibly suffering less when they see the positive side of discovering the truth. Order your copy of A Shocking Call from author John Philip S. DeRocha. Available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Are you looking for a great young adult fiction story that's filled with character development, romance, and a compelling plotline? Check out Incandescent, an ongoing Wattpad story by Tyler. At Puzzles in His Head, Riley thought he was handling everything well. Traumatic experiences were in his past, but this involuntary move to Maine was supposed to be a fresh start. Maybe things would be different here. Little did he know, fresh starts aren't that easy, and running away from your problems never works. Soon enough, he was back at square one, wishing for a brand new life until he met Tim. Follow Riley as his journey of mourning, self-discovery, and friendship unfolds. New chapters are released every Thursday. You can start reading right now on Wattpad. Look for Incandescent by Tyler, also known as Puzzles in His Head. Start reading Incandescent right now. Take the headache and guesswork out of your next vacation. Simplify a Trip is here with answers to all your travel questions. Go from vacation dreams to booked reservations and itineraries in minutes. Simplify a Trip has every resource you need to travel to any location you want to go. Simply decide where you want to go. Pick your travel dates and enjoy the best travel options and deals picked just for you. Simplify a Trip directs you to every resource you need, from ordering luggage and travel gear to car rentals and airport transfers. Enjoy the vacation you've been dreaming of. Simplify a Trip includes travel blogs with plenty of ideas for you to plan the perfect getaway. When you go to simplifyatrip.com, you'll be directed to a partner website that will get you the very best deal wherever you plan on traveling to. Everything on Simplify a Trip is ready to order or book, saving you time at a price you can afford. You don't have to wait until vacation time to relax. Sit back and let Simplify a Trip help you create the trip of your dreams. Explore new worlds with Simplify a Trip. Visit simplifyatrip.com to book your dream vacation right now. simplifyatrip.com. How would you like to decorate your home or office with fairy art? You can online at pictrer-BILDER?L=DE. There you will find digital art that you can simply print, frame, and hang. That's it. The art is beautiful and unique. These are fairy nature characters that are stunning to look at. Go to the site right now. View the inventory. You will be impressed. pictrer-BILDER?L=DE and decorate your space with this beautiful fairy art.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Now, I want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters for their support of the program, and, of course, welcome our new Patreon supporters as well as we start this 2023 year. And thank you so much, guys. Those of you that are Patreon supporters, your support of the show helps us out a lot. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, Gary, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Rome, Wisconsin, Mike, Dave, Carlos, and Paulette. Thank you, guys. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the episode description as well as a direct link on my website, BrianCraigShow.com. All right, I saw this article this morning in the Gateway Pundit, and I thought it was really good. This week, the Republicans are taking over the House of Representatives, and we're talking about a lot about how
Tuesday,
we...
right? The 3rd?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's when they elect the speaker on the 3rd. It's a big week. And this one we're going to find out who all the rhinos are because they got to start delivering on some things. And the Gateway Pundit has an article, and it's a list. The first 12 actions the GOP should take once taking control of the House of Representatives this week. And I thought they had some pretty good suggestions. I tweeted this. This is in the Gateway Pundit. And a lot of these Republicans, these fake MAGA rhinos, they've been hiding behind, well, the Democrats control the process and we can't do anything. Yeah. Now we're in charge. They can't hide behind that anymore. So, so here's one. Here's number one on the list. Launch investigation into Biden crime family based on the evidence from the Hunter Biden laptop. And the Biden camp has already said they're not going to comply with the House Oversight Committee on this. So that should definitely be at the top of the
I agree.
List. Here's a good one. This is the second one. I like this one a lot. This is number 2. This is the Gateway Pundit's list of things. Okay. 2, investigate Joe Biden for violating his own sexual predator groper bill. I like this one a lot.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
There are literally hundreds of – this is a Gateway Pundit writing. There are literally hundreds of images and videos of Joe Biden fondling, touching, rubbing, sniffing children and women over the years and throughout his presidency. And so that would be good. Number 3, demand tax returns from Joe Biden, Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Ilhan Omar, Schumer, and Hunter Biden. And I think that's fair game, especially since they released – Trump's tax returns. And I'll say this about Trump's tax returns, okay? They're trying to say Trump's like a bad man. Why? Because he made less money while he was president than before. All these other people, they make the most money when they're in office because they're corrupt, taking bribes and working out deals and all of this. I think the fact that President Trump took a hit financially while he was president says something good about him.
I don't understand about that. Why is it scandalous that he did not make a lot of money while he was president? He was president. He wasn't he wasn't running his companies. And by the way, he gave away his salary every year to different charities. So I don't understand why that's such a scandal. Right. That's really fallen flat.
In fact, President Trump didn't want to take a salary. They made him take a salary so he would get it and then donate it.
Right.
Right. Okay. So here's number 4. Release and make public all video footage of the 14,000 hours of video that we've not seen taken on January 6th at the U.S. Capitol. Oh, that would be huge. That would be nice. I didn't realize they were hiding so much from us. No. Oh, that would be great. Yeah. 5, demand the release of information from the DOJ, Capitol Police, FBI, and others, the information on the dozens or perhaps even hundreds of federal operatives working inside the crowd on January 6th. So release the names and the numbers of how many people in the crowd on January 6th that went into the Capitol were either federal agents or informants and things like this. Oh, this is the list. I mean,
it's a great list.
This is definitely a great list. Here's number 6. Demand a copy of the affidavit and all supporting documentation for the FBI raid on President Trump's home, Mar-a-Lago. How
come we haven't seen any video of that? I really thought Trump would have released some video.
They won't let him. The Justice Department went to the judge and stopped the video from inside Mar-a-Lago that Trump had from being released.
But aren't you surprised it hasn't been leaked? That these things always get leaked by somebody.
Yeah, because they don't want us to see what they did in there. Yeah, if it made Trump look bad, believe me, we'd see it.
I'd like that.
The reason they don't want us to see it, because I promise you the video he has is not only great video, but there's audio too. And when we can see how they went through all the president and first lady's private belongings, people would be like, oh my goodness.
I think it'd be shocking.
And then when we heard them saying, we got nothing. What are we here for? We can't find anything. I thought there was all this stuff. We got nothing. They don't want us to hear that. Exactly.
Like they said in Miami Vice or Smuggler's Blues.
Exactly. Yeah. 7, get all of Pelosi's emails, text messages, and her film crew's footage and records related to January 6th. That would be good because, her daughter made that movie. We have not seen the unedited footage that her daughter took on that day. Number 8, this is also a good one. Remove Ilhan Omar, Adam Schiff, and Eric Swalwell from their committee assignments and investigate them. No doubt about that one. I mean, these are all very good.
If they did all of this, could you imagine? But this is not.
There's too many rhinos.
There's too many rhinos.
Kevin McCarthy is not going to do any of this.
No.
If he's the speaker.
Do you think he's going to win? Seems like he is.
Chances are, yeah.
Who
but
else
you never
is
know.
in the running? Who else?
Well, usually, like I said, when anybody, they can vote for anybody. But usually, there have been times when the famous guy thought he would be speaker and something stopped him. And the person that came out and became the speaker usually are people who you've never heard of before.
And how much of the vote do they need?
The majority.
Just the majority. So
Just
even by one.
I'm not sure if it's just by one, but I think it is. I'm not exactly sure on that. But no, it's happened a couple other times. And because I remember when it happened, and then the person that became the speaker, I'm like, who is this? Who's Dennis Hazard? I've never heard of him before.
Yeah, well,
so that happens a lot.
Didn't end up well either.
So here's number 9. Begin immediate investigation into Democrat dark money. And, of course, that would involve the crypto scam that they were involved in with Bankman-Fried. 10, begin an investigation and audit of all money sent to Ukraine.
I was just thinking, is this on the list? Yes, that's a good one.
And related donations to Democrats from the FTX crypto company. That's 10. Oh, yeah, these are all no-brainers. There's nothing here on this Gateway Pundit list that you would say, they shouldn't. They should do all of this stuff. Number 11, obtain and release Adam Schiff's interview with Cheryl Atkinson during the first Trump impeachment. Yeah, that would be good. You know, anything we can get on Schiff would be good. 12, investigate all actors related to the Russian collusion scandal.
Which how that all germinated.
Yeah, which means the wiretapping at Trump Tower, Trump in the White House,
that all came to be.
the briefing, the Russian briefing, all that stuff. That would be
that'd be great.
And here's what the sad thing is. This list of 12 things, all of them are great.
Yeah.
And probably if Kevin McCarthy becomes the speaker, none of them will happen.
No. I think that's why
none of them will happen.
I think he wants the power, but I also feel that's one of the reasons he's so desperate to get in there is to protect his friends.
His friends are Democrats.
And to stop this from happening.
You know, when
they vote Tuesday, so that'll be interesting. I can't wait.
When the Tea Party was a thing, and in 2010 there were a bunch of Tea Party people that got elected to Congress, I was watching a hearing, and the Tea Party were like MAGA. I mean, they were pretty going after the Democrats. And there was a guy, I don't remember who he was. He's probably not in Congress anymore because they got rid of most of the Tea Party people unless they caved and became rhinos. But there was a House hearing with Eric Holder when he was the Attorney General. And it was live on TV. And this Tea Party Republican was really hammering Eric Holder. And Eric Holder, this was live on TV. He said, I don't know what you think you're doing here, but that's not how these hearings are supposed to go. This was Holder while he was being questioned. You're not supposed to be playing gotcha with us here on TV. And what he was saying is this is just a show. Right. Nothing is supposed to become of it.
He didn't get the memo.
You're supposed to just act as if you're holding our feet to the fire, not actually do it.
It's all a dog and pony show. I've said that many, many times. These hearings are it's a distraction. It's to make it look like they're doing something important to justify, because these senators really don't do much, except live high on the hog off our money. But it's to make that look like they're doing something interesting and that they care. They really
and that they don't like each other.
That's definitely
because
they're all friends.
They're all on the same team.
They're all friends. Yeah. They all hang out together. And the ones who aren't, you can tell because they get ostracized very quickly. And like Madison Cawthorn, he didn't play ball. And boom, he's gone.
I've been watching on YouTube a lot over the weekend. I don't know how this happened, but a video came up in my feed. And you know how it works. You watch one video and then YouTube starts recommending you all kinds of videos. And I watched a video from this woman who's a defector who escaped from North Korea. And she's very good. I can't remember her name, but I have to have the subtitles on when I watch her channel because her Korean accent is so heavy.
It is.
But she talks about what it's like in North Korea, which is worse than you could ever imagine. So I've been watching videos, not just of her, but of other people that have escaped North Korea over the weekend. And it's worse for North Koreans than you realize. I give you an example. One of the things she talked about was the pleasure women that they have over there. Okay,
the pleasure squad.
Yeah, it's called something like that. The pleasure squad is not just a handful of women. there are hotels and resorts throughout North Korea that pleasure squad women, which is where the most beautiful women are forced into becoming part. They recruit them, and they don't have a choice. They got to be, and they just wait in these resorts for Kim Jong-un to come and have sex with them. He may never come, and then after they're there for 3 or 4 years, they're too old, so they rotate them out with younger girls. And I mean, it's just awful what goes on there. And you got to ask yourself, why do they allow someone to run this country? And when I say they, I mean like the rest of the world, the United Nations, everything. Why is this allowed? Why is it allowed that this terrible regime runs North Korea? Or why are the Taliban allowed to do what they do? Now that Biden gave the Taliban Afghanistan back, women are no longer allowed to go to school, and you've heard the terrible stories over there. And the reason that these oppressive people are allowed to continue is because we have an oppressive government in this country. It's just not so obvious. Right. And what we've learned, I think, through everything that's happened to Trump is living in a free America is really just an illusion.
Yeah. It's all an illusion.
It's
the Matrix.
Yeah, we're not anywhere near as free.
But we're freer than other countries.
Freer than
but
other
not
countries. Really, truly free.
But not as free as you think.
No. And you see how there's constant surveillance of every American.
Oh, the phones have made it much worse.
And some of all
these devices.
You see what happened with the Twitter files. The scary thing about the Twitter files is that you think it's just Twitter that the government's doing that with? They're doing that with everything.
Yeah.
Not just social media platforms, the news, everything. They have complete control over every aspect of our lives. And obviously, we're better off than they are in North Korea or under the Taliban controlled Afghanistan. But a lot of our freedom really, truly is an illusion. And we're really not supposed to have a say in how our country is run. And the fact that we do, I was watching, there's a guy that I watch on YouTube. I watch too much YouTube, guys.
That's true.
I watch a lot of history stuff on YouTube. And this one guy, he went to every grave of every U.S. president, from Washington on up to the last president who passed, which I think was H.W., right? Would be H.W. Bush.
Yes.
And
is Jimmy Carter still alive?
Jimmy Carter is still with us.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because when you don't really think about all the presidents. I mean, you know who they are, but you don't think too much about them. And he went to sometimes they're at a church, sometimes they're at their museum, they're here, they're there. And as he goes through every president and you get a little bit of background on them, you realize every single president we've had, except Donald Trump, has been a part of the political establishment of their day. And
he slipped through the cracks.
And he slipped through.
Yeah, and they freaked out.
And because he's so rich, he and his family could not be bought because they have more money than they could ever spend. There's nothing they desire that they couldn't have in 10 seconds. So they're not corruptible. They're like the untouchables, the Trump family. And he is the only president we have ever had who, in these tax returns, tell you all about it, who lost money being in office, lost a lot of money by being president, and the only one who was not part of the political establishment. And it's really, really sad. It really is sad that all these presidents we've had, none of them really represented the people. And by the way, that goes for Lincoln too. Remember, he was a lawyer for the railroads, which was the big tech and GM of the day, and that's why he started the Intercontinental Railroad, not because he was some innovator in connecting the country. It was because his special interests were the railroad companies, right? Yeah. So, and not that Lincoln was a bad man, but I'm just saying Donald Trump is the only president we've had that is not corruptible. Even Eisenhower didn't even own a house in his whole life until after the war. Okay? So all of them were not just connected, very, very connected, except President Trump. And that's why they hate him, and that's why they hate all of us.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, they definitely hate us.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I was just reading a story here, and I'm not going to go through the thing here, but a judge ruled that the MAGA hat is free speech. right? MAGA hat's free speech.
Yeah.
There was some, and I don't know why. Listen to this. Let me read a little bit of it so we can get some context. The Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals in the Dodge versus Evergreen School District decided a Washington middle school teacher was exercising his free speech rights while wearing his red MAGA hat at school training sessions. Okay, training sessions. I guess it wasn't in the classroom, but in training sessions.
Yeah, teachers go through a lot of training. I went through a lot of training sessions in your downtime for sure.
Middle school teacher Eric Dodge started to wear his MAGA hat to school meetings in 2019.
Oh, boy.
But the principal threatened disciplinary actions against Dodge if he continued to wear the hat. Now, I remember when Obama was running and was president, there were a lot of stories about this. Teachers were wearing Obama buttons in the classroom.
I saw it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Dodge claimed...
T-shirts too. Shirts, clothes, everything.
Yeah. Dodge claimed his principal called him a racist and homophobe for wearing the MAGA hat and stated, "You need to have your union rep if you wear that hat to school anymore." A 3-judge panel of the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said there was no evidence that the teacher, Eric Dodge, had caused any actual disruption by bringing the hat supporting President Trump to teacher-only trainings in Vancouver, Washington. And a judge-appointed judge ruled, was on the court, some may not like the political message being conveyed, but it goes on and on. Okay. You know, when I was in school, there were things up from... about other presidents. I had a teacher that had a Nixon thing up. It's only Trump that's not allowed, right? You can have anything up but Trump. And, you know, the liberal teacher doesn't even realize that she's racially stereotyping this guy, calling him a racist and a homophobe because he has a MAGA hat on. So she's against racism and stereotyping, but she's doing both of them. Well, we're out of time for today, but it's a new year, and we'll be back next time, guys. I'm Brian. Always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we will talk to you next time.